You're just not paying attention because they're not hot. If it was a hot person that this sound was coming out of, you would have a completely different reaction. That's gotta be infuriating, but that can never be me. That can never be me though. So one of my earliest TikToks from 2020, I feel like it was around that time, someone shared with me one of their biggest pet peeves in the visual kei space online, right? They personally felt like a whole bunch of people were listening to certain visual kei bands just because they're hot. That was their frustration. They were like, I just feel like there's so many people always listening to these visual kei bands that are terrible, always saying they're big fans of them only because they look good and not because the music is actually good. To which I said, I've never come across that before, and I don't think that's the case. My original line of thinking was maybe that's the case for other types of music, but visual kei is already super overstimulating visually. We already know that makeup is used to cover flaws. Generally, they're going to know their angles. There's also lots of editing involved. And if you already find alternative looks attractive, to be honest, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet visually, okay? Which in my opinion results in there being so many hot people that it's very difficult to hone into just one person just because of attractiveness. Like there's got to be other reasons why you're liking these people. Not only that, I personally feel like when the music is bad in visual kei, it's really bad, and I can't imagine somebody subjecting themselves to terrible music just because they find a band member hot. Like I can't even conceptualize sitting through some of the sounds that I've heard from bands that aren't that great. Just because of one hot member or a couple hot members, there's literally a buffet of hot people. And you decide to focus on the hot people in the bands that are making terrible music. I just don't think it's sustainable. And that was my original stance on the subject. I think I said that to the person like, yo, there's way too many hot people for people to just be listening to bands just because the members are hot. I've never met a visual kei fan like that. Perhaps you just hate the music from these bands, so your go-to is that the only thing that these bands have to offer is attractiveness. So you just go ahead and assume that people are only liking that band because the members are hot because you can't imagine yourself listening to the music. You're like, I hate it, therefore the only thing this band is good for is looks. But that's because you hate it. Like, this person may genuinely like the music. I still stand by what I said back in 2020, but I have been observing myself and others these past couple years. And after some time, after some years of more aggressively interacting with the online visual kei community, I would like to revisit this statement of people only being into bands because of their looks. I will welcome the idea of looks paying off for a band, but not in a sense where people are subjecting themselves to terrible music. More so in a sense where people are hyping up music that would otherwise be considered okay to average. And also something I've realized, maybe a little too late, is just how effective looks are at getting someone to check out one group in comparison to another. The sense of urgency just becomes a completely different thing when you realize that some of the members or a member is really attractive. And I mean like multiple types of attraction. I don't just mean like sexual attraction. I've realized just how often I do this, like checking out a group just because one of the members are attractive. Like that sense of urgency is just different. It's just different compared to some groups I may pass by where like, you know, everybody looks decent. These days when I'm on Tumblr, I will scroll through the visual kei tag. I'll see a lot of the newer gen visual kei groups, right? But occasionally I will find a beauty so striking where I'm like, nah, we about to listen to these guys immediately. Like right now, we're listening to them. We gonna see what that music experience is like. And that compared to just skipping groups because I don't have time or I am just not in the mood to listen to anything new is quite powerful. It's a very powerful force. After all, you'll never know if you like the music if you never get a chance to check out the music. Like if you never hit the play button, if you never go to YouTube, you never type in the band, how are you going to know if you like the music? How are you going to find the music? And of course, I came to this video with a few personal instances that made me realize I needed to revisit this statement that I denied back then, because I have been exhibiting some behaviors that would be considered very biased towards the hot people. I have a few instances to share where I exhibited behavior that made me feel like I needed to eat my words from back then. Let's start with Tumblr. There was this band member I kept seeing that from a certain angle looked like Boogie. So every time his picture would pop up, I'd be like, oh, is that Boogie? Is this a new picture of Boogie? It was depending on the angles. I don't even know if he really looks like him. It's just the aesthetics are kind of similar. It turned out to just continuously be this guy. And I was like, well, for me to mistake him as Boogie, there's definitely some attractiveness there. Because y'all know how I feel about Boogie. Despite him obviously not being Boogie, I wanted to know more about him and the band he's from. Is he new? I've never seen him before. I wonder if this band draws inspiration from Jiluka. I wouldn't care about none of that if that man didn't look similar to Boogie from different angles. So there's one example. Another example is Ashmaze. Looks is what eventually got me to listen to Ashmaze, and the extras were finding out that their music was actually pretty good. Lastly, let's go to Lynch. Now, I never got into Lynch, but I decided to check them out. Part of the reason I even revisited Lynch as a band, like I knew of them, but I never listened to them, is because Hazuki is hot. I kept seeing pictures of him everywhere with other band members that I really like, and every time it would remind me, oh, this man is hot. I never really did listen to Lynch, huh? And later, I ended up following a solo project he did. I discovered I really liked his voice, and things continued from there. I never really did end up finding a lot of Lynch songs that I enjoyed, which is an open invitation to recommendations. Okay, y'all got some Lynch songs y'all think I might like, drop the songs in the comment section, because it wasn't bad, it was just okay. Like, the music was okay. But yeah, all these examples show just how effective looks can be. I don't remember exactly everything I said in that TikTok video back then, but I do want to validate the idea that visual attraction controls much of what gets listened to and discovered by the visual kei community overseas. To say it doesn't would just not make any sense, especially based on my own personal track record. I was looking back on that video and was wondering why I had such a dismissive reaction to what that person said. And I think it's because I am triggered by the idea of somebody saying I'm just listening to a band because the members are hot. Because it's like, bruh, you know how many hot people are in visual kei? And you see me obsessing over this one, and you think it's just because they're hot, like there may not be more to the story. Clearly there's something there that goes beyond hotness. Clearly. And that's where my opinion hasn't changed. I still don't see people becoming huge super fans of visual kei bands just because they're hot. I just think they listen to music, they're enjoying music, and people on the outside aren't enjoying that music, so they just feel like the only redeeming factor about those bands that they're listening to is looks. Despite the fact I feel looks and attraction and aesthetic can be powerful in this space, I've not met one person that I feel like is listening to a band just because they're hot. Like, they actually genuinely like the music. But at the same time, not mentioning looks in visual kei and the effects that looks have on listeners is extremely disingenuous, especially since that is one of the only ways I end up looking up newer groups nowadays. That, aside from hearing people talk about groups so much and hype groups up so much to the point where I'm like, damn, let me go check this group out because nobody's gonna shut up about them apparently. That also is a driver. I would say that's pretty even with the looks driver. If I hear about a band and people keep talking about them, I will go listen to them. Not only that, this needs to be talked about. I've experienced this too. Situations where a good looking group makes people wish that they were into them. Like, they envy the fans because they can't get into the band's music, and they know that the fans that are into this band's music get the benefit of being visually attracted to them. They're like, oh my God, they look so good. Maybe I just haven't listened to the right song. This person wants to be under that band's spell so hard, but they can't because they have ears that can hear and they not liking what they listening to. I've seen that, and I think that's really funny because I've been that person before. There's one band band I have in mind that now that I am reflecting, I probably was trying to make attempts to get into them because they're just very good looking. I like their music now, but before, when I first started, it was okay. And I think I just kept making attempts to listen to different songs by them because they were just nice to look at. And I was like, ain't no way I'm missing out. Not when they look that good. You guys probably are gonna know what band I'm talking about because I'm not gonna say nothing else. Here's even another angle. Have bands with excellent music been ignored because of attractiveness, because they're not meeting a certain level of attractiveness, because everybody's unattractive? However you want to phrase it, you got to ask yourself how many bands are being missed out on because they're not attractive enough. And I don't mean like in Japan, but I mean like overseas, because I imagine in Japan, it's the same. You know, looks are universal, but I'm strictly talking about like overseas bands that have been just completely looked over. People have not tried to listen to their music because they don't really look good. Even though I'm asking this question, I actually don't know. My favorite band of all time, I was not physically attracted to any of them or any of the members. So at the very least, I know I'm not ignoring good music because of looks, at least when the music does reach my ears. Can you imagine somebody listening to like the best thing ever? Like just a sound that is so great that it is generally liked by most people, and they just ignore it because the person that the sound is coming out of isn't attractive. That's gotta be infuriating. I know it happens with other genres of music, but I'm thinking specifically in visual kei, because I've seen it with ageism in some of the other areas of music I listen to. You're just not paying attention because they're not hot. If it was a hot person that this sound was coming out of, you would have a completely different reaction. That's got to be infuriating, but that can never be me. This may not be received as an important video, but as a person who believes in pretty privilege, I had to eat my words because I've been feeling like a hypocrite the way I've been seeing like hot members on Tumblr and just going to YouTube and typing these bands in. I am craving music from newer groups in general, but a lot of what I end up checking out is governed by looks. As far as discovery goes and good/mediocre, music being perceived as way better than what it actually is because the members are just that attractive. I can't name any groups that I feel that way about, but I am willing to accept that those groups exist. And that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to come on here and make that video because I've been thinking about that. I was like, wow, Savette, you are better than no man sometimes, you know. I'm gonna move my camera as I talk, but it's also kind of exhilarating to see when looks complete a package that was already quite hefty to begin with. Like, damn, you mean to tell me the music's good, the vocals are on point, the aesthetics are killer, and they're all hot? Like, that's why nobody can tell me a thing about Malice Miser. I know I already did a video on them, but a band like that is what immediately pops into my mind. It's not just about looks, it's the whole package. I completely get the prolonged obsession.